Today in history. Today it's June 26th, and we're going to continue our journey to the past.
That is right. We have two events to share with our listeners today, and we're going to get to those in just a moment. First, here is the quiz question. This document granted the UN its right to perform as the most important international organization today. Is it number one, the champion of the United Nations, or number two, the charter of the United Nations? The question once again. This document granted the UN its right to perform as the most important international organization today. Number one, the champion of the United Nations, or number two, the charter of the United Nations. So what is that document name?
So if you think you know the answer, please don't hesitate to let us know that you know.
Put it on our bandy board or text in #1045 on your cell phone for 51. You could win an usan.
So we're going to be talking about two items today, and here's the list.
Today in history. In 1284, the Pied Piper lured 130 children of Hamelin away. And in 1945, the UN Charter was signed.
자, 1284년까지 거슬러 올라가겠습니다. 1284년 6월 26일에 어떤 일이 있었냐면은 헤이믈린이라는 곳에 피리부는 사나이가 130여 명의 어린아이들을 이제 피리 소리로 유혹을 했다라는 얘기가 있고요. 1945년에 6월 26일에는 UN 헌장이 서명됐습니다. So, let's talk about this Pied Piper first. Well, it could be a medieval legend, superstition, fable, tragedy, and speculation, possibly.
According to the Brothers Grimm, this day is believed to be the day when the Pied Piper lured the children of Hamelin with his music, a story that has never been confirmed but has traveled through the centuries and made a mark not only in history but also culture and linguistics.
So really, the Grimm brothers, they specify the date in this story?
Apparently.
Well, according to this legend, the event took place on this very day in 1284 when the people of Hamelin hired the Pied Piper, 피리부는 사나이, to get rid of a rat infestation in the city.
And after the Pied Piper fulfilled his part by luring the rats with his flute, the townspeople refused to pay him, and he took revenge by doing the same thing, playing his flute. But instead of rats, he lured victims, and they were the children of the town.
Aww. Okay, well, and this story has been interpreted, discussed, studied, and translated. There's even a comic superhero.
Not to mention adapted in cartoons, animated films, feature films, and of course parodied, like in the movie Shrek.
Why is this happening?
Love?
No, I'm being forced to dance.
By love.
No, I can't stop myself.
Please. Please stop. I can't control myself. Yeah. Click is bringing the heat out the kitchen. Yeah.
Oh no, it's the Piper.
Okay, so Shrek and Fiona are dancing to the beat.
It's the Pied Piper.
It's the Pied Piper.
Because they have to dance. They can't stop. Right? When the Pied Piper plays his flute, you have to do what he wants you to do, I guess, right?
Interesting. That could have been a nice revenge itself, actually,
Yeah, that's
instead of
right.
like luring all these children away.
Exactly.
네, in linguistics, pied piping is the common name for explaining the relationship between some words that are automatically linked to one another.
And in everyday language, a Pied Piper is described as a charismatic person who attracts followers. That's according to many dictionaries.
Interesting. 자, 사람들을 매료시키는 어떤 그 카리스마를 가진 사람을 가리켜서 또 역시 Pied Piper라고 부른다고도 합니다. Well, this legend also lives on through another interesting commemoration, so to speak, in the United States. June 26th is known as Rat Catcher's Day.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
우리나라도 그런 거 있잖아요. 쥐 잡는 날 이런 거 있었던 거로 기억이 돼요. 이제 올해 어떤 날이 쥐 잡는 날이에요. 옛날에 쥐들이 하도 많았었을 때
Is that right?
네, 쥐 잡는 날이 이런 날이 미국에 있군요. 6월 26일이 쥐잡는 사람의 날이네. 파이파이퍼스 데이라고도 할 수 있겠네요.
Interesting.
네.
All right, well, let's move on now, and let's move to a 100% verified historical event. We just talked about the legend of the
Legend,
Pied
right.
Piper. This one happened, though, back in 1945.
Today was the day when the UN Charter, UN 헌장, was signed in San Francisco by 50 of the original 51 members as Poland signed it months later.
The signing marked the beginning of a global movement to establish world peace and order, and it symbolically granted the rights and authority to do so. It was the newly founded United Nations organization.
Uh-huh. And this was followed by the events on October 24th of the same year when the charter went into effect.
Pretty important day, wasn't it? Yeah.
Of course, we just showed the front page of the newspaper, which was published back then. It was
Absolutely.
about this very news story.
All right, so that's going to do it for today in history. And before we finish it up, the answer to the quiz question. This document granted the UN its right to perform as the most important international organization today. And the answer, number 2, the Charter of the United Nations. Okay, that will do it for today in history. And when we come back, it is Cine Premiere's time. We'll say good morning to Daniel. Here's Bruno Mars, Marry You.